The Civil War served as the catalyst that would forever change the landscape of this country and of the District of Columbia. As the war raged on, thousands of slaves used the commotion and bloodshed to escape from oppression. In the process, the war brought a large percentage of the enslaved population to the forts surrounding as well as protecting Washington, D.C. These individuals left with the hope of finding both freedom as well as new opportunities. A large portion of these African Americans, both free and enslaved, came from southern states as well as nearby Virginia and Maryland. When they arrived at these forts, they were given the basic resources and shelter, and in exchange they were hired by the Union Army. Contraband, as they were called, reflected their status as spoils of war. In the years to follow, African American settlements grew and eventually experienced a heightened period of economic as well as social prosperity, building entire communities for their families despite the amount of discrimination they experienced. Some of these communities, established in the shadow of the Civil War defenses of Washington, may still exist today. Descendants of the Civil War refugees may trace their community beginnings to the neighborhoods surrounding Fort Davis, Fort DuPont, and Fort Mahan, east of the Anacostia River, and Fort Reno, Fort Slocum, Fort Stevens, Fort Bunker Hill, and Battery Kimball in northwest Washington. The National Park Service, in partnership with American University, wants to learn about this community history and hear the stories of contemporary African Americans with ties to these parks. Sharing your story will help the National Park Service to document and preserve resources of historical importance that are still important to the community today. Can you trace your heritage to the Civil War? If you have connections to Civil War descendant communities and would be interested in sharing your story with the National Park Service, please visit www.nps.gov/CWDW or contact project researcher Professor Sue Taylor at suet@american.edu. Your story is important, and together we can preserve these important places of community, hope, and freedom, today and in the future.